From May until December every year, whales can be found travelling up and down the Western Australian coast. These majestic creatures migrate to colder, food-rich waters near Antarctica for the summer. During the winter and spring, they're found in their coastal mating and calving grounds in the warmer coastal waters off Western Australia. The largest numbers of whales found in WA waters are the humpback and southern right species, but all species are protected by federal and state government legislation. Humpbacks and southern right whales are sometimes sighted in WA's southern waters as early as late April. Their migration path brings them very close to shore, where they're vulnerable to getting tangled in fishing gear, nets, rock lobster pots and pot lines. May to June is the critical period for this type of event, as it's the peak migration period and all of the rock lobster fisheries pots are in the water.
Whale entanglements present complex and dangerous situations that require specialist skills and training if the whale is to be released safe and unharmed. In addition, there is an increasing public interest and concern about these events when they occur. Supported by the Department of Environment and Conservation, the Western Rock Lobster Council has introduced a code of practice to help reduce whale entanglements. The profile of the rock lobster industry can only be enhanced by its direct involvement in the reduction of whale entanglements by adopting best practice at industry level. This DVD is designed to highlight the code of practice and give an understanding of rescue techniques. You can play your part in helping to rescue an entangled whale if you find one, and do so in a manner that will keep you and your crew safe.
There are some whale species more likely to become entangled in fishing and pot lines due to their migratory pattern, which brings them in closer to shore. The most vulnerable is probably the humpback whale, listed under the Environmental Protection Biodiversity Act in 1999 as an endangered species. But southern right whales and the critically endangered blue whale can also be at risk. Humpback whales migrate through Western Australia from May to August and then begin their return southwards from September to December. They are slow swimming and have very long flippers with knobby leading edges. Humpbacks can be dangerous and unpredictable when entangled, but not as aggressive as the southern right. This whale is also slow swimming and migrates through coastal waters between May and October. It has rough callosities on its head and very long baleen on its upper jaw, which can increase the risk of entanglement. They are difficult to rescue due to their size, strength and uncooperative nature. Other animals that can get caught in lines are turtles and manta rays. While they do not prove to be as dangerous or unpredictable as whales, they still present a challenge to potential rescuers. The Department of Environment and Conservation has one of Australia's leading disentanglement teams. The team constantly reviews procedures and updates training regimes as a result of knowledge gained from dealing with real-life rescues. Information is also shared with and gathered from other rescue teams around the globe. While a highly trained team can make a whale disentanglement look easy, an attempted rescue presents an extremely dangerous situation. Yet, through a few carefully executed procedures, rescuers are able to take control of a situation and work out the best way to safely cut whales free. The main technique that is used is known as kegging, which was developed by the Centre for Coastal Studies in the USA. This has been used by DEC rescue teams for several years. Kegging works by attaching long lines and heavy buoys to the whale to slow it down, tire it out, and keep it on the surface. This allows the team to approach the whale more safely and completely remove the entanglement. For this technique to work, it's vitally important that when the whale is first discovered, no trailing lines or entangled ropes are cut free, as they are invaluable in attaching the new lines and buoys. When the whale has sufficiently tired and is deemed under control, the entanglement is cut away using knives attached to long poles. These knives have been designed specifically for this work and are so sharp they can slice effortlessly through 10 entwined lobster ropes like a hot knife through butter. It's important that all lines are removed because over time, any left behind can cause serious injury and sickness or even death. Another situation that rescue teams face is one where a whale is so caught up in lobster pot lines that it's literally anchored to its current location and cannot move. This presents a more controlled and safer rescue approach, as the whale is often exhausted and doesn't react violently to the approaching rescuers. However, anchored entanglements have their own twist, as the whale has usually had time to roll around in an attempt to dislodge the ropes. Turning underwater increases knots and tangles, making ropes extremely hard to dislodge. If you discover an entangled whale, it's vitally important that you do not attempt a rescue yourself. There have been instances of untrained personnel being injured and even killed. DEC personnel are trained and highly skilled to handle these situations. It's also of crucial importance not to cut free any trailing or entangled ropes. These can be invaluable to the DEC rescue teams for attaching lines and buoys in order to either slow down the whale or help control it. To accurately assess a possible whale entanglement, approach the animal as recommended by DEC. You should always remain at least 100 metres from the whale and be careful that you stay away from its head and tail. Report the entanglement as soon as possible, as this ensures the rescue teams have the best possible chance of success. The listed numbers will be answered at all times. By remaining near and monitoring the situation, you can provide valuable information such as the speed and direction of the animal. You also might be able to relay what species the whale is, the extent of its injuries, and its physical state. Other useful information includes the latitude and longitude position and the details of the entanglement, including what type of fishing gear the animal is caught up in, the presence of predators, and any other information you might think relevant. Of course, due regard for the safety of your vessel and crew should remain a priority. All these procedures provide crucial assistance to the DEC team. Your assistance can be the difference between life and a slow, painful death to these much loved and protected animals. The Western Rock Lobster Council has already implemented industry best practices that reduce the risk of whale entanglements. These include a reduction in the number of pots and seasonal closures, in particular 10 days off the start of the sea zone season when whale migration is at its peak. There is also a moon closure at the end of the season. But more can be done. In conjunction with the Department of Environment and Conservation, the Council has developed a code of practice specifically to minimise the number of whales and other marine animals becoming entangled in rock lobster pot lines. Your support is needed. Remain vigilant during the whale migration season, particularly in June. Avoid excess slack in pot ropes, especially at the start and end of the fishing season. Ropes should be adjusted to a length that is appropriate to the depth and strength of the tide being worked. Excess slack can be coiled and tied close to floats. Where possible, avoid setting pots in clusters. Regularly check pots as per standard fishing practice. The DEC rescue teams have a greater chance of success if the entanglement is discovered quickly. Do not leave pots in the water if you're not fishing for prolonged periods. Pots should be retained on board or returned to shore. Collect any abandoned, lost or cut pot lines, rope or fishing gear that you might find while at sea. Report entanglements as soon as possible. Rapid reporting ensures rescue teams have the best possible chance of successfully releasing the whale. Remain nearby to monitor the situation with due regard for the safety of your crew and the whale until DEC teams arrive. Record details of the event, such as what kind of whale it is, its general condition, and the latitude and longitude of the whale's location. The Department of Environment and Conservation regularly holds whale disentanglement training programs. You're welcome to take part to hear more about the procedures and meet the people who undertake the rescues.
Any questions about that strategy?
The Western rock lobster fishery is the most valuable single-species fishery in Australia. The catch averages around 11,000 tonnes a year, with an annual estimated export value of $200 to $300 million. The fishery stretches 1,100 kilometres from Shark Bay in the north of Western Australia to Cape Leeuwin in the south and extends well offshore. In 2000, it was the first fishery in the world to be certified by the Marine Stewardship Council as an environmentally responsible and sustainable fishery. The fishery is carefully monitored to ensure there is adequate breeding stock. The harvest is maintained at a level that ensures enough lobster are left to produce the next generation. Western rock lobsters are delivered live to processing factories along the coast. The majority are exported live, whole or frozen to Asia, in particular Japan, Hong Kong and Taiwan. A portion is exported to the United States and Europe as frozen lobster tails. The nature of the pots and the way they're baited, set and retrieved ensures that there is very little bycatch. Octopi are occasionally caught in pots and are sold. Other small fish and sea life that might enter the pots are released live. Professional fishing for Western rock lobster is strictly limited. As part of the management package that regulates the industry, there are controls on the number of pots, the length of the fishing season, and minimum and maximum sizes of the catch. Breeding females are also protected by law. The Western rock lobster fishery is one of the most successful fisheries in the world. The industry continually strives to make sure the fishery remains viable, effective and responsible.